In this video, we're going to take a look at a coding challenge called river sizes. Now, I really like this exercise. It's one of my favorites. So the interviewer could ask us to create a function that accepts an array of arrays. And inside it, we have cells that can be either 1 or 0. So 1 represents a river and 0 land, right? And what we need to return is the array. So in this example, what we would return is 2, 3, and 1. So we have one river of size of 2, one river of size of 3, which is this guy here, and the last river is size of 1, right? So you can take a moment to think about how you would solve this, and we can do that later together, right? So to solve this, what we need to do is just, of course, we need to ask our interviewer, can we modify a current array? If we can, what we do is we go through each element of the array and just first mark the current number as something different, that's not 1 or 2. So let's mark it as 1 or 0, right? It's 2. And we visit all of the neighboring nodes here, right? And of course, keep track of the count here, right? We can have our results variable and just put it, once we're done, we can just put the length of a river inside. If we're at a value of cell that is 0, we can just keep it. Here it's 1, so we can change it and traverse the array. After that, we see that we have our river that has count of 3, and we do this for every cell, right, until the end. Let's just look how this would look like in code. Let's have an array that has, I don't know, 11 zeros. It is. Just do like 4 columns. Let's have one river. So river with length 1, river with length 2, and let's have one river that has length, I don't know, 5. So 3, 4, 5, like this. So if we print river sizes, we should get back an array of 1, 2, and 5, like this. So let's first construct our river sizes function. Okay, so first thing we need to have is just our results array, which will store our rivers, and then what we need to do is go over each cell. So we do this by, okay, so for row in range length array, like this, for column, and then let's have a cell variable that holds up our current cell, and then if cell equals to 1, that's when we know that we need to like append a river. We found the river. Mark and count. Let's pass in our row and column like this, and after we're done, we just return the results like this, right? So let's create our next helper function. That's mark and count. It has array, row, and column like this. And first thing we need to check, because this will be a recursive function, is if it's out of bounds our array, row, and column, or our current cell, it's not 1, we can just return 0 like this. If not, we have a 1, so we need to first, of course, mark it something different. Let's mark it as 2, and then we just return 1 plus whatever we get when we're traversing up we go left and right. Okay, cool. So let's do that. So we go up by having row -1, column, this. We go down by +1, and we go left. Let's first this guy. Left -1, and right it's +1, like this. Let's delete this and just add all those guys together. Like this. Cool. And the last thing we need to do is just create our out of bounds function. So let's do this, out of bound, a row and column. If row is less than 0 or column is less than 0, then we're out of bounds, so we'll just return true, like this. If row is greater than equal length than a, or column is greater than equal length of first row, like this, we can also return true, it's out of bounds, else we return false, like this. Cool. So we created our helper function that we'll be using here. And if we recap, so we're creating our results array or list, and we're iterating each cell like this. And if we found our cell with value 1, we just append whatever it's returned from our mark and count function, which is a recursive function. This is basically just going visiting all the neighbors until it's out of bounds or it's not 1, right? And this we're just basically counting, right? If we're at this line, we found our cell that holds up value 1, we mark it as 2, so then that we don't revisit our river and just go recursively inside it and add 1. So if we call this function, we should get an array 1, 2, and 5 back. Let's do that. And we do have 1, 2, and not 5. Cool. 1, 2, 3. Why is that? Let's just print our result. No, print or A. So yeah, we're not visiting every node, so it's probably because of this guy here. So let's just, oops. What? Just fix this guy here. Okay, so now it works. Cool. Yeah, so that's about it for this challenge. This river sizes has multiple versions, like count the islands, count the length of the islands, and so forth. So it's a really good exercise to go forth. It's pretty good to know this really well. Okay, so that's it for this one. See you guys next time. Bye.